You hate line art? I hate line art. Most artists will agree that doing line art sucks. Beginner artists will also say that their actual line art sucks too. Here's how I fix that.
In 4 steps, or 6, depending on how you want to count it.
Step 0. Make a clean sketch. Before you start on your line art, get a good sketch. And I don't mean leave it like a complete mess. You need to clean that up so you can easily tell where to put your lines. The brain is really good at tricking itself into thinking sketches look good. If you leave a sketch messy, when it comes time to put down clean lines, there's a lot of ambiguity on where to put your lines because most of the time, finished lines are thinner than sketch marks. This is the most important step of the process, so it's important to get it right. It's like laying down a foundation for a building.
Forgot to take that one out, sorry.
You don't want the foundation to be shaky, or else the drawing will collapse on itself when you start adding more details to it.
I'm a true American hero.
You might have to make multiple sketches to get it right. That's fine. Admittedly, if your sketch kinda looks like line art, you might have went a little bit overboard. But if you like how it looks, hey, maybe you don't have to actually do line art. You can just use a sketch as is. Lucky you. Step 0.5. Take a break. No, seriously, take a break. You don't want to start on your line art and then realize halfway through that the sketch looks like absolute ass. I'd say that the sketch is the most creatively demanding part of the drawing process. You can simplify and kind of autopilot your way through line art and coloring. But sketching, all of your big fundamental art decisions are made here. Composition, 3D, forms, all that stuff. So yeah, take a break so you have fresh eyes. Step 1. Make a line layer. Sun Tzu once said, "There are no wrong ways to make art. Unless you use Clip Studio and don't use a vector layer for line art." Come on, bro, just use a vector layer. It makes lining so much easier. They make lines crisp, high quality. And you can change your image resolution without losing any quality. And this is my favorite one. You want to draw through already existing lines, because that's just what you do to get overlapping shapes to look consistent. But then you have to carefully erase the line that you're not supposed to see. Well, vector layers make that easy. Almost as easy as hitting the like button. Step 2. Select a brush. It doesn't really matter if it's textured or not, or if it has pressure-sensitive line weight, or if it has pressure-sensitive opacity. If you get comfortable with your brush, you'll be able to make it work eventually. I'm assuming that you have pressure-sensitive drawing equipment, but if you don't, that's fine too. You are using a vector layer, right? So you can adjust line weight easily, and don't worry, I'll talk about that in a bit too. Step 3. Draw lines. Lower the sketch layer opacity so you can see your lines better, and start mapping the sketch to clean lines. And that's why it's important to make the sketch relatively clean. If you're a beginner, don't worry about stuff like line weight or line color or any of that fancy stuff. The important part is to make it exist. Just focus on mapping your sketch to line art. You can touch it up later. And also make sure you're actually drawing on your line art layer, because you don't want to accidentally draw on your sketch layer. If you're a beginner, don't overcomplicate things. Just make clean lines. Try not to chicken scratch. That's when you make multiple short strokes to make one finished line. That's what you do when you're sketching, but not line art. Line weight. There's a lot to cover in this one topic, so line weight can honestly be its own separate video, so I'll just cover the basics here. Gonna start off by saying that if you're happy with your lines as it is, you can skip this section. There's nothing wrong with having flat line weights across all of your lines. Again, art style thing, you do you. Anyways, chances are your sketch looks way cooler than your line art layer. But line weight will fix that. There's multiple ways to add line weight. One option, if you use the vector layer like I told you to, you can head over to the Adjust Line Width tool. Then you can select a portion of your lines and make it and the surrounding area thicker or thinner. This is a very clean look, very nice. But if you're like me and want to add some edge to your lines, you can just go back in with your regular brush and add line weights manually. This makes the lines look a little messier, a little grittier. And if you're a total mad lad, you can even draw really thick lines and then erase certain sections of them afterwards. Which is something that I used to do, but I don't anymore because it's really hard and time consuming. Oh, and you can also get better at pressure controlling while you're actually drawing the lines. That works too. In fact, that's probably the highest skill expression you can skill expression. What is this? A game? So where should you make lines thicker or thinner? Well, that's the part that makes line weight take up an entire separate video. But if you really need to make your art look different from beginners, you can just make the center of your lines thinner and the edges thicker. And the reason why this works is because most people apply more pressure while they're in the middle of drawing lines. So if you do the exact opposite of that, then your lines will stand out. Anyways, if you want me to get into more detail about line weight, leave a comment below and I might get around to it eventually. Extra step, line color. I forgot to mention stuff about line color before, but that's because you can actually change it after you draw the lines. So what you do is you make a new raster layer, you clip it to your line art layer, and now you can color your lines anything you want by just drawing on that clipped layer. I would avoid pure black unless your art style just really needs that pure black. A really dark and saturated color that matches the object that the line is part of is good. For example, if the object is yellow, you can make the line a dark brown. If the object is gray, you can shift the line to be a little blue. Generally, lines should be darker than the object's shadow, unless you're a total mad lad and you can make the line color anything you want. For example, I like making lines that mark the skin red, particularly if it's an area where a lot of light is going to hit. If you like experimenting, you might come up with some cool color choices. And that's where a lot of fun with line art comes from. And remember, it's called line art. It's not just lining, as in the lines themselves should be artistic. That was a weird line. Need to fix that script. Oh, that was a pun. The point I'm trying to make is that when you're making the line art, you should try to make the lines be artistic on their own. I think what makes a great line art layer is that it should look like a finished piece already. Like, you could put it in a children's coloring book, and busy parents will buy them to distract their kids. Line art should also be able to convey 3D form by itself. No need for shading. Remember, coloring is a crutch for non-colorblind people. That's not actual art advice, by the way. That's just me trying to make a point. One more thing, don't spend too long on the line art, because it's boring. And you'll just get bogged down in the details. So remember, zoom out. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit about your details. But if you care, then you managed to watch all the way to the end of this video, and you should leave a like and drop a comment. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.